And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another broadcast. Tonight, we have 3 guests from around the country, actually 2 from New Jersey, which we're really happy to have. So I'd like to introduce you, Heather. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where your school is, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm located in New Jersey by the beach here in a town called Ocean Grove. Our school is our 16th year open this year. And we have about a little over about between 300 and 350 students in our school. And there's a team of teachers that run. Approximately, there's a total of about 11 of us that are on faculty working with the kids. And we offer for ages 3 all the way to adult. We're in a very old building. It's called the Art Center, but it was an old school they restored to turn it into a center for the arts. So there's a theater and different artists and residents in the building. So it's a pretty cool space. It's like Fame. It's pretty interesting in there.
You're pretty interesting and always smiling.
Thank you.
Julia, tell our a little bit about yourself, please.
So I'm about 30 minutes south of Heather, which is super fun. We're neighbors here. I'm located in Toms River, New Jersey. We have about 250 students, and we too run classes from ages 3 to about 18, and I'm just so happy to be on here with you guys.
Welcome. We're happy to have you. Christine, tell everybody about your school and where you're from.
So I own Contemporary School of Dance. It's in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. We're about an hour west of Toronto, and we're in our 23rd year. So kind of excited about that. We have about the same kind of 300, 350 students, and teach 2-year-olds to adults. We have a large adult program, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Cool. Welcome to all 3 of you. This is where I'd like to start off. I know that the last couple weeks were difficult for a lot of studio owners. I think it was a bunch of different reasons, but I'm feeling like there's a more positive view this week. What do you think of that statement?
I'll go.
Jump in.
First of all, always when like it's spring, I feel like people have like a little hope in the air because things are turning. But I definitely think in the last few weeks, you've seen the dance community just truly rally around one another and offer so much just support and guidance for each other that the ideas are whirling out there, and you feel like you're just not alone, and there's different things you can try, and people are very resourceful and helpful for one another. And I think now like people are starting to get in their groove, thinking, okay, this is what I've tried this is what seems to work for me, and now they're starting to set themselves on a course as to what's going to be comfortable for them to be able to move forward with.
Excellent. How are you feeling this week, Julia?
So I couldn't agree more with Heather. I feel like we're finally in a little bit of a groove. We have a course, whatever that course will be, but we have a little something set for us to follow. So I definitely feel the positive energy, and our weather is getting nicer. So there's a lot of things that are making us feel much better in this most recent week.
Awesome. How about you, Christine?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a little cooler up here for us, but but spring is coming. There are some daffodils. We're a little slower on the blooms coming out on the bushes and things. But anyways, it's coming. It's coming. We know it's coming. But yeah, I think all my teachers, there's 10 of us. I think we're all like you said, in the groove. We know what we're doing. It's kind of our new normal, and everybody has a plan, and we're still thinking of some new ideas maybe for June, because that was our show month. Just some extra special things. But other than that, I think there's no unknown factors right now that are looming over our heads. We're kind of on the course, getting it done. Yeah.
Awesome. So for our viewers, what course did you take, Heather, when it came to your classes? Are you using Zoom? What are you using?
So at our school, we've decided, originally we were on just Facebook Live and private groups that we set up for our student body based on age. And then we would go live there and we'd record the content. And then we would put the content on our website in a virtual classroom. So students had the opportunity to go back at any time and watch any of the classes. And we stored a music library there too as well. So all of our songs were there that would correspond with the classes so they could practice at home. And we encouraged our kids to take as many classes as they could. So if they're in the 3 to 5 year old track, they could hop on and take from all the different teachers. So, and they were familiar with all of us because we do a lot of work together at the school. So they had familiar faces that they could jump in these classes with. And then we got feedback from parents that were saying that, their children, it was hard for them to respond to a video without a lot of direct interaction. We were commenting on the Facebook Live back and forth to the kids, but they were asking for different options. So then we went into a Zoom program as an alternate. So we would do an alternating week. So 1 week on Zoom for all of our classes, and then the following week would be recorded classes. And then we'd shift back again. And then we went a step, we didn't record the Zoom classes, however, they were just live classes with the kids. And then we added to that, we added additional open Zoom classes that we invited our student body to that were themed. So like for our babies, we had a luau party and we had a superhero party and we had a mermaid party, whatever. And then for our older kids, we had a choreography combination workshop. We had a contemporary class that were things that they could all jump into in case they missed the regular Zoom. So there's like things constantly happening for them within the dance community. So I'm sorry, I keep right on talking. So
No, you make me laugh because my next question was going to be, what did you do special, different from your classes? So we've heard it from you. We got both questions in.
Well,
so really,
yeah, I'm going to add to that if I can answer that second part. I have something cool, actually. I did this thing where I did a family jitterbug and I danced with my daughter in my living room. I said, look, we're all in our living rooms dancing here. And we did this together. And that was a really cool memory for she and I. We did that, and taught it. We went live and did this to whoever was watching. But then I did something where it's launching today, actually. So it's like super hot off the press. But it was so cool to do. We sent out to all the parents. It was called the Sparkle Slideshow. And we asked them all to send any pictures or videos they had from their kids from home that they liked and that the kids liked. And so there was like all this stuff that came in. And we loaded in all of our old slideshow music to it. And we built this Sparkle Slideshow to unveil to the kids. So they're getting to see one another now through the eyes of what's happening at home. And I'm super pumped about that. So that was like a cool extra thing where and they couldn't believe how many parents were submitting stuff. Like I think our Sparkle Slideshow is like 45 minutes long. So I mean, I get popcorn and rest because you got a lot of things to watch. But it was cool. That was a cool addition.
I bet you're going to have the longest Sparkle show there's ever been.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
And the sparkle will be so blinding that nobody will be able to watch. Julia, what did you decide to do for classes?
So I was so fortunate that I had some built-in snow days, and we had no snow days this year. So I started off by utilizing my 2 snow days. So we had 2 weeks of just time off. During that time, I had my teachers, my staff, and I got together. We put some product out there for our parents. We utilized Facebook, private group we created, Vimeo videos. During that 2 weeks, I actually leaned on a lot of the IDEA members to see kind of what was working. Once April 1st came around and we realized, hey, we're in this. This isn't just a quick 2-week close and get back together. We started with Zoom live classes. My teachers started recording their choreography, what they already had done, teaching new choreography. We created a Vimeo channel, and little by little, we rolled each of our programs out to our parents and our students so they can jump on. Our live Zoom classes are just technique-based, so they can get in any class as well of their age group, and then they utilize those videos to keep up with their choreography. That's where we're at.
I love it. So you've been able to keep the classes basically technique classes this whole time.
We did, yes. I found that was helpful for me because I was able to take some of my classes and put them with my students, can go with other teachers. And it gave me a little more time to focus on the business side of how am I going to make this new way of business work?
Makes total sense. So Christine, what are you using to teach and communicate?
Yeah, I also had a 2-week March break, so that was great. I used the first week to kind of do my research and pulled a lot of ideas from things that were going on the idea page, and just delving into technology that I was not familiar with, trying to figure out what might work for us. I knew I wanted to be able to record anything, so that if students did miss it, they could go back and see it again. So there was an issue of storage and all those types of things. So I settled, well, the first week we did a private Facebook page, kind of similar things with, story times and coloring contests and daily dose of dance history and, all sorts of things that first week. And then the second week that we were off, our teachers were all, some of them felt more comfortable pre-recording their classes for the little ones instead of going live. And others were filming other, choreography and things like that. And then March 30th, we launched our online classes. So they're available through our website. It takes them to their specific class. All our classes are running as normal. So they go to their classes and it takes them to a Dropbox folder, and their classes are either pre-recorded in there, or if we do Zoom, I have it integrated with Dropbox, and then the Zoom classes are also saved in their class folder. So that's what we're doing.
So I want to follow up with you on that. You're running classes on a regular schedule, but if I can't take the class at that time because of the Dropbox, I have the ability to take it a day later, yes?
Yeah, so after the Dropbox is available the whole time. So we put our week, this is week 6 for us. So week 6 classes were loaded on Sunday night, and they have the capability of doing week 1 through 5 again if they want. But week 6 is up there now, and then our Zoom classes are loaded into that week's folder as well. We also do something, so if they're only having pre-recorded classes, they get a Zoom check-in, we call it, which is a 15-minute mini class where we chat with them and say hello to them, and we see a couple things that they're working on, and they show us their dog and their cat, and it's fun.
All right, let's go there for a second. Heather had brought up some of the unique things that she's doing other than her regular classes. Christine, share a couple of things that you've done that you would not have maybe expected a year ago.
Yeah, I think the private Facebook page was the big thing. So we've got, TikTok challenges. Our hip hop teacher is doing some awesome ones of those. We have a weekly coloring contest. We have, different, the daily dose of dance history. We have something called Lunch Bite, which is like a little 2-minute technique lesson. We've got lots of different extra classes on there. I also contacted former staff that have gone on to do other things, and they've come back and done kind of surprise classes, like see who's going to show up today and do. So I've got, lots of that going on too.
Yeah.
Kids appreciating it?
Yes and no. Like we don't have a huge Facebook following, and I've been trying to drive them to this page, this special page, and there's just some that are really resistant to joining Facebook. So we're having to do some things in different ways for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julia, what are some of the things that might be a little bit unique that you are doing with your clientele?
So one of the things that we're doing this month, and I'm actually really excited for, I have a friend of mine who is a DJ, and he does Facebook Live DJ events where he'll be in his home and play music, and we're going to transition that into a private dance party night with a guest DJ for our students. So we're finalizing the details on that, but we believe we're going to do it via Zoom. This way there is that interaction, and we're all dancing in our living rooms with a guest official DJ. So we're looking forward to that, and it's something we wouldn't have done if we weren't in this platform. So
I have something to add to that, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
One quick thing that was out of the ordinary that I got really good response from the kids was we took our company kids, because we're still running company rehearsals every week. So they're coming in and those are Zoom every week. So they're popping from room to room with each different teacher, and they're on a schedule there. So last week we set up a showcase night, or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. And I had all the kids, they had 1 week to work on this assignment, and that we don't do solos at our school unless they're seniors. So this was a moment for every kid in our company to do a solo, and they came up with their own choreography. They could wear whatever costume they wanted, any sort of creativity they want to incorporate, and video it and send it to us. And then we had a night where all together live, our company watched each kid's piece. And then they were all in like the side chat box. Like, I couldn't get over the comments the kids were making to one another, just like building one another up. Because you had some kids, like no one's done solos before with us. So that was really like a risk for them to put themselves out there, and the encouragement they received from one another. I mean, I sat back and watched it. Even I haven't done anything like that in years. I went out to the beach and I did all of 10 seconds. But I feel like a nice 10-second solid movement to like open it up, just to show them I was going to put myself out there too and try. But that was a fun project for them, and they couldn't wait for showcase night. We did it in our pajamas. We had like a pajama party, and we all did that, and that was a lot of fun and easy. Well, sharing the screen was something else, me trying to run that on my end, but I figured it out. Not great, but we got it done. That was fun.
So really, it's about building a community. It's not about the movement per se. It's about connection. Would you agree?
100%. That's what's going to keep these kids wanting to be there. This is their place. This is their place they call home. And so you're like their dance family. So everything you can do to be there for them now just is so important.
So Julia, have you started thinking about the future? I know that question is hard when we're in such unsure times, but have you started thinking about it?
Yes. So right off the bat, once I realized we were in this for a little bit of a long haul, I started to think, what is going to be best? And I'm 100% committed to still having a recital. I'm using my air quotes, whatever that might look like. And I am pushing that out till the fall. That has kind of from the get-go, I felt that was going to be best for my customer base. And being here in New Jersey, we're realizing that's probably our only option at this point. So we are looking into kind of shifting our season. My season will end, my May and June will be in September, October, and then my new season will start a bit later. So I'm really starting to plan the logistics of how that all is going to work. So I'm definitely right now thinking future.
So is it your plan? Hang on. Is it your plan that you will just start with a later registration?
Yes. Oh, I lost you for a minute, Reid.
And will you? Do you see me now?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
So you're just going to delay the start of the season and run a shorter season, I'm assuming, for 2021?
Yep, that is my plan right now.
I love the way you said right now. That's the key for everybody listening to us tonight, is that right now we can have a plan, but we also have to be open to change or adjustment or roadblocks that we can get by. Christine, what are you thinking about the future, whether it be recital or your fall?
I think the word that comes to mind is resilient. I didn't know how resilient I was until I went through this, because I've had several plans and they just keep changing, and you just have to be flexible, I guess. But so we have pushed our show to October. Our Thanksgiving weekend is in October, so it's the Friday, Saturday of that weekend, and then people can still celebrate with their family on the Sunday, Monday. Hopefully we're all back together and able to be social without distancing by then, but we'll see. That's the plan for now. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna do.
And are you?
Sorry. Oh,
No,
I was just
you
going
go
to say,
ahead.
I'm going to do our regular registration for September. So the kids that will be in the show are just the ones that are involved now. And we'll hopefully start new classes in September.
Christine, I want to dig a little deeper. Are you preparing for that new registration to be both virtual and in class, if you can pull it off?
That's the plan. Yeah. Yeah, I think in the Canadian town halls, we've been talking about that a little bit too. But the ability to video your regular classes at the studio and have them available for students to do at home if they're not well or a family member's not well or something, I think is a really good idea. I just have to figure out how to do that. So
I kind of see this virtual and in person lasting a while, that there will be, whether that's to split up our classes because of a limited size that we could have in the studio. So half the kids are home for a week, the other half come in the next, or come in that week, and then we reverse it. I think the virtual thing will be with us for a while.
I think one of the surprises that came out of this was I had people signing up because they knew we've had virtual classes. So I had adult students that weren't brave enough to come to the studio before that wanted to take dance classes at home because all of a sudden they could do it in the privacy of their own home and they didn't feel like self-conscious at home. And so I thought that was amazing. We have this whole new group of people that are dancing that wouldn't have otherwise danced before. So I'm going to keep capitalizing on that, I think, for sure.
I think there's a lot of avenues that we could capitalize on when it comes to the virtual classes that we would have never thought of had we not been able or forced to do this. Because you're right, those adults, an adult tap class where people can learn in the privacy of their own home and have a glass of wine with them if they'd like to. I think that's a possibility for the future.
Yeah.
Heather, what are you thinking about your future as far as the show and registration in the fall?
Actually, we've been having these every Friday, like check-in staff meetings where we'll sit together and kind of just see, I want to see where everyone's head and hearts are and what they're doing and moving forward. Because this is a whole new experience for everyone to try to shift your teaching into doing this virtually. And I try to go through and offer ways to help motivate and keep everybody, focused on how we can be creative for these kids and for our clients. And that actually was where I was last week, kind of thinking, what am I going to do here? Our recital was supposed to be June, first week of June. The college said we could not host it at that time. And then we were looking at a backup option later in the summer. And I just felt very nervous about the uncertainty of all of it. So I wanted to be honest with the kids and what I was, talking to them about. And so I finally came to the solution where I'm going to have a virtual recital, and I'm going to do it I hope to do it at the very beginning of July. And our goal is to stay open. We're going to stay open May and June and run classes throughout and prepare the kids. And then if we have to film them, 5 at a time, and we will, if the parents are comfortable and they're in masks, and we'll stay apart or however we want to go. But I want to offer that option for them if they want to do it. And it seems like that is something that then it would stream live. So we would have our live recital streaming at a certain time and day, and they'd be able to give the link to their grandparents or aunts or uncles, and everyone can watch to support. And I found a company that will do that, and I'm hopeful. So that's my plan, unless things shift. But in following the guidance of how many people we can have together, but that would eliminate my worry of how many people can be in a room and in a venue. And I just got very nervous about all of that. So this could be super controlled, and even if we had to do it outdoors, this company will bring some sort of set. So we'll see. Who knows? We'll have to see how this turns out. But I'm very hopeful.
I'm watching to see how this all happens.
I don't know. We're getting more creative every day. Like, look what we've been able to do in the last 6 weeks.
Exactly.
That we never do. So this could be something great. Who knows? We'll see.
We too are worried about how many we can put together. So my goal is to have modified recitals. They will be mini recitals. I will figure out how many of those I have to run. It might be 30 recitals in a weekend, but we definitely, it's gonna look different this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say if you schedule.
Don't you think that's okay?
What was that?
She just said it's gonna look different. Don't you think that's okay though?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yes.
The parents we're all in the same boat together, and we're all in it, for kids and with kids. And so I think everybody's got the best interest of the children at heart there to try to figure out what's going to be most comfortable for them and their parents too. So I think as long as your clients and have that faith in you and what's driving you, I think, if our hearts are in the right place, they know it. So we'll figure it out together. But
Yeah.
So what was one of your hardest moments so far, Heather, who's always smiling? I want to hear what's been your hardest moment to get over since this whole thing started.
I had I said to Reid, thank goodness this interview wasn't last week or the week earlier. I would have been laying on the floor. I would have been of no help. but I'll tell you what, I got very worried about your faculty and staff. As a mom, I have my 4 kids. Then I have my team that's reliant on me for sustainability, and my kids from the dance school that are reliant on, what are you going to do, Miss Heather? How are we going to push forward? And you just want to do what you can for everybody. And at some point you just feel like, I don't know how to keep all these balls in the air and should do the right thing. And I was very worried and sad. And I kept watching our finances, thinking, how am I going to keep going? I don't even know how to keep going. And then I got I'm like as Reid will tell you, Lysols everywhere. And I had a knock on the door, and there was a flower bouquet at the door. And I was like, I don't want to get it, because I was like, I don't want to touch it. I don't know where that came from. But I finally got myself together and went out there. And it was from my staff, my team. And boy, did that pick me up. It was like, thank you for being there for us and just putting yourselves out there for us and believing in us to do what's right for these kids and for helping us along the way. And that to me, I was like, okay. And then we do this weekly call, and actually collectively together that helped pick me back up and push me forward again and say, yeah, no, we're here for the kids, and that's the focus. And then everything else will sort itself out. And they reminded me of that. And that's all I really needed, is that little reminder. And now, you think, yes, we are resilient, we're artists, and how can we creatively reach these kids? And we have it in us. It's just we have to shift our way of doing it. So that's what, I'm sorry, this is part of having children, where they FaceTime me left and right. I apologize. So, sorry. I told them not to call me, but they did.
Julia, what has been a moment in time for our viewers who look at some of these shows and think, wow, these people seem so happy and they have it together? Share with us something where you were like, wow, I hope I can do this.
Well, when I started this, I thought, I'm going to have a link on my website. I'm going to put these videos up. It's 2:00 in the morning. I go to put these videos up, and my website doesn't have enough space for any videos to be uploaded. I must have spent 30 hours on the phone with GoDaddy. We laugh because I sat on the phone with my website provider through dinner, through this, morning, night. And there was moments, it was hard. I'm going virtual, and I don't have a website that's working. It's breaking by the moment. We had to transition it to a different platform. All these different things happen. And like Heather, if you talked to me a few weeks ago, there may have been a different feeling or a sound in my voice. And, through the whole thing, I am definitely policy driven. I put everything in writing. I make sure everything's so clear. And through this whole process, there's no policy. And that was probably the hardest for me. There was no policy for me to fall back on. There was no process in place, and figuring it out, and the technology aspect of it. And then I started to look at, man, I figured this out, and I figured that out, and I created this. And I started to feel like, wow, I can do this. And I'm definitely, my faith, I have a very strong faith in God, and you can't have fear and faith at the same time. So I hit that point where I said, it's impossible to be both. So I just have to live by faith, and something just switched, and we're going to make it through. And it's, you know, my faith in God has really been my anchor through this whole process.
I love that. Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you. What a
that.
nice answer. That was
Thanks.
How about you, Christine? Where was a moment in time that you felt like, oh my?
It was a 2-week moment in time when we were closed, and I was trying to scramble to put this all together. I think I changed my mind on our platform that we were going to use about 5 or 6 times. I kept going to my staff and saying, okay, we're going to do this. And then the next day it's like, oh, that's not going to work. We're not going to have enough storage, or, you know, it's going to take you too long to upload, or, okay, well, we'll do this. And then, you know, I spent all this time researching this new and whatever thing. And then that didn't work, and back to the drawing board. And I just thought, how am I going to make this work? And then in the midst of that, I also felt this kind of weight that I hadn't really acknowledged of, this is what I want to do, but will my team actually want to do this? I had a moment where, like, I'm going to be stringing all these people along, and, you know, I really need everybody committed, but I'm committing for them. So I had a chat with them, and kind of similar to Heather and Julia, it was my staff that were like, no, this is great. Like, look at what you've done already. You've set this whole thing up, and it's going to be great. And so then when I knew they were on board, it was a lot easier to keep pushing forward, because I just felt like I was the captain of the ship, and I wasn't sure if the crew were going to go with me, you know, like. So once I got that kind of, yeah, this is awesome, let's do it, then it was, okay, we can do this. Yeah. But those 2 weeks, I did not sleep. I have teenage kids, so I was very thankful for that, because they're very self-sufficient, because I really did not spend any time with my family during that 2 weeks. I was just on the computer, focused, researching, looking something up. Like, it was just this, you know, treadmill of technology chaos. And then I finally came out the other side. March 30th, we launched, and it was like, I had this Tom Hanks moment of like, I have built fire, you know, like, I made it happen. It's working. People are dancing online. It was so exciting. But that 2 weeks before that was, I have never worked harder in my life. That was insane. Yeah.
Your own kids probably saw that too. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that your children are watching you, and watching you resilient, and just figuring it out, and moving forward, and learning new things, and then the success that's coming from the things that you're learning how to do and implement. And that's a lesson that, you know, our own kids are seeing us as parents too. And
yeah,
that's been very humbling to me. I've had that happen too with my own kids, where I feel like, am I enough? Am I doing enough for them? And then they're realizing what we're trying to create, something that we never did before. This is like a whole new world for all of us. And so we're thinking that, I always say at the end, we're going to be super smart with all of this.
And I feel like we're all warriors. Like, we've done this. We've made it happen.
Yeah.
So I have a little different situation. I have a toddler.
We are.
So if it wasn't for my husband and my sister, the hours that I worked, I'm not sure if I would have been able to get through those hours. Because Christine, you're right. I never worked so hard and learned so much in such a short period of time. The hours that I spent behind the computer, it's unbelievable what we're capable of. Yeah.
So this was my next question. It was a yes or no, but I think two of you have already answered it. Do you think this is more difficult than running a live school? This online virtual, do you find it more difficult than the normal business that we run, or are you settling in?
Yeah. I think now that it's going, it's fine. It was the initial, like, and all my teachers too, trying to figure out like how to film and how to video the best way. And like, we need to turn around and show them our feed, or, you know, like, just getting all that kind of technical stuff figured out.
And the crunch for time.
Sorry?
The crunch for time, I think, was, we were all under the clock. we had to get up and running to keep our business going, and that there was a window that we had to do it in.
Yeah. And I think too, the videos, I think as teachers, you're kind of, perfectionist tendencies or whatever. You're trying to make it look all perfect and this and that. And I just had to pretend that I was doing it live so that I just did it in one take. Because otherwise I'd be, oh, that was horrible. I got to start again. And it was just taking way too long. And actually some of those moments are the funniest moments anyways. And the kids love that because it's natural. It's what happens when you're teaching anyways. So here we go. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's hard.
I think we're going to have great moments from this period of time. Funny moments, survival moments that are going to memories forever.
For sure.
Yeah.
So were you going to say something, Heather?
No, I was just going to say, as dancers and artists, we're very like feelers, like from our hearts. And so to move away from that connection, that human contact with the children, for me was a bit tricky. Like even with my staff, with everybody, I'm like a people person. And so that was a transition for me. But then I like figured it out that these kids need this interaction as much as my heart needs it too. So like that was like the click moment for me, that like we're still connecting with one another. You just have to let them know that this is okay and that you're still here for them. And then that was when it changed for me. Like I can't wait to get on there and see those faces. And when we danced, we choreographed, I was like, you're right up there on that screen. I want to see you right here. And then like we high five, like, then you just see their smiles come back, and then that's what fills me up. Like I would be lost without that.
I love that. Final words of wisdom for maybe the studio owners out there or teachers who are finding this time difficult or uncomfortable. Let's start with Christine.
I think you just have to keep going. Like you just have to keep going. Keep pushing forward. Those moments where you feel like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Is this worth it? Is my business going to make it out of this? I think you just have to keep pushing forward. Don't look back, just keep going. Yeah. And things unfold as time goes on. So we don't know really what's, going to happen here anyways. There's no timeline on anything. So.
It is okay.
It is the uncertainty. I interrupted you, Julia. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Julia.
Oh, there we go.
It is okay. My advice is it is okay not to know. And as I say that, I'm saying that to myself because I had to tell myself that every day. I like to know. I like to be able to lay everything out for my staff, lay everything out for my customers, have every I dotted and T crossed, and it's okay there to be some looseness right now and to not have an answer for everything. And that was probably the hardest challenge. But once you accept that as a studio owner, that you are not going to have every answer for every question that's going to come to you, there's a freedom that happens as a studio owner. It is okay not to know. It is okay not to have the answer. That's
so true.
That needs to be cut out and put up somewhere because it's hard for us. We like spreadsheets. We like organization. We like calendars. We like preparation. We like to know where we're going next. And we have no idea in reality. Heather, some words of wisdom.
I think that if you are honest with your students and your faculty and your clients, and you find what it is that you are motivated to do and how it is you are motivated to move forward and what you're comfortable with doing, and that way you can give 100% of yourself to that. All they really need from you they're looking for is 100% of you, and whatever that is that you are going to put out there is going to be the best version of yourself that you can give them, and no one can ever look poorly at you for that. And so if you just find in your heart what it is that is your passion and drive in a way that you are comfortable in plowing forward, then you will be able to do that with great success, because you're going to have that confidence in something as long as it's what you are comfortable doing. So find what works for you. And I think this time of trial and error is super common. I mean, the kids are even doing it in their schooling. The teachers are trying to find different ways to reach the kids. So we're all doing the same things. You have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And a point of follow-up with that is, what works for you may not work for another dance teacher or studio owner. This is our time to discover what makes us feel most comfortable and make those changes, I believe.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for changes in the future myself. I'd like this to end sooner rather than later. However, I'm willing to go with the flow and see what this journey brings. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you very much for having us and for setting this up for all of us to be there for one another. It's very helpful.
We need to stick together in our world, and doing these broadcasts, I feel like we've been able to help people both inside IDEA and those who may not be a part of IDEA. Together, we are one community, and we must work to save everybody so that every kid can keep dancing. Every adult can keep dancing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a nice night, everyone.
Thanks.